Good morning again, everyone. This is Cristina Osborne of the Property VA. Today, we're going to learn another lead generation strategy for finding commercial to residential property deals. I am going to share my screen shortly, and we'll get on with the presentation for today. Okay, so this is the weekly VA lead generation training for finding off-market property deals. Every week we'll start with a beginner's recap, and then we'll go through with wins and challenges. And we'll also do a recap of the previous strategy that we learned last week. And then we'll do the main learning, Q&A, and an action list for you to take away and implement today's learning. And finally, we'll just do a knowledge encoding portion. Okay, so I always do a recap as to your role as a VA, a property VA, and good to know some distinctions to always remember. And then I'll also do a recap on lead generation strategies, and then a recap on one strategy, and then a recap on Stannp. Today's Stannp recap, I will actually do after the main learning session because I wanted to show you a new way of using your mail merge documents. Okay, so your role as a property VA, you're meant to do tasks based on checklists and not descriptions. Sometimes it's hard for clients to make this distinction. And so when a client gives you a task and it's based on a description, kindly try to get back to your client and ask for the steps to carry out the task. Especially when it comes to finding property deals, sometimes clients might say, oh, can you find me tired looking properties? Now that's really sometimes hard to do if you're someone who comes from a different country and you don't know what properties look like here in the UK. And however, if a client gives you a checklist instead and not descriptions to work to or to work on, then it's easier to find the properties that your clients are looking for. An example of this is to use the keyword strategy, which means that there are clear specific steps that you can carry out in which the end result will be the properties that your client is looking for. Okay, so there's no hit and miss when we're working to checklists. Secondly, we carry out tasks. We're not meant to be making decisions for our clients, especially when it comes to investment and business decisions. It's really, sometimes it's easy to outsource decision making to VAs. But if your client does, just kindly remind him, I'm not so sure I'm supposed to be doing that for you. Okay, you just say kindly and gently, thank you for giving me that instruction. However, if I do that, I might be making decisions for you and maybe I'm not in the position to make decisions. All right. Okay, so this is why lead generation is a really great task to outsource to VAs, because when it comes to property deals, you do need to analyze deals in order for you to make investment decisions. Okay, but in your case as VAs, you're not meant to be analyzing deals for your clients. That is to say, is it a good deal or is it a bad deal? Is it a good investment or a bad investment? That's not your role, okay? So when a client goes, so can you find me 3-bedroom properties, and then you present the selection to your clients and the client goes, so which one should we go for? That's not your role to carry out, okay? All we're doing is lead generation. We leave the decision making, the deal analyzing to our clients to carry out, okay? I myself have lead generation clients. I never go into details of whether it's a good deal or a bad deal or how they're supposed to approach the deal, okay? It's simply lead generation. Why? Because it's checklist based. When I say low value, I mean to say that we are not making £1 million or $1 million decisions, okay? We are carrying out tasks, okay? And also it's repetitive. That is to say, because it's checklist based, we can repeat the instructions over and over again, and we'll get the exact same results. Also, it's time consuming. Not so sure if I spelled consuming correctly. I hope I did. Yes, it's time consuming. So it's perfect for clients who are time poor because they're running their businesses and they don't want to be spending hours in front of the computer when they could make better use of their time and delegate those tasks to property VAs like yourselves. All right, so doing a recap on the main categories for lead generation, we have 3 main categories that I like to divide all of our lead generation activities to. The first one is finding BMV property deals. BMV stands for below market value. I know I keep repeating myself, but this is for the benefit of people who like to, for VAs who might be joining us later on when you're months into your training, okay? Also, it's really good to just be reminded until it's automatic for US VAs, okay? C2R is the strategies that we're currently going through right now. So the BMV ones are the ones that we're repeating as recaps. The C2R are the property strategies that we're doing as the main learning for this series. C2R stands for commercial to residential. And then the third one, I haven't got a group name strategy, a group name for this strategy. So for the time being, I'm simply calling it HMOs, PLOs, and rent-to-rent strategies. It's in many ways, it's the most complicated, but also it's actually still very simple to understand. We will tackle the HMOs, PLOs, rent-to-rent. I'm going to project sometime end of July, okay, or it could be 1st of August. So we will try and well, we'll cross the bridge when we get there to learn about these strategies. Okay, so last week we did the unsold strategy recap. For today, for this week, we will do the local trades person's campaign recap. So Mark has just joined us. Okay, let's just wait for Mark to join us fully. Okay, hi Mark. I was just about to start the recap on today's BMV property deal strategy, which is texting local trades persons with a campaign. Okay, so I'm just going to escape this slide for a second. Oh, here we go. So where were we? Okay. I'm going to just log in to Asana so we can look at the funnel board, the multi-funnel board. Okay, almost there. So I think most of you have already accepted my invitation to join this board. So the way I designed this board is that there are 3 columns, 1 column for each lead generation strategy. So for this column, we've got the BMV strategy. For this column, we've got the C2R strategy. And then the 3rd column will be for the HMOs, etc. strategy. Last week, we did a recap on unsold listings. Today, we'll do a recap on how to text tradespeople. Okay. So what is the rationale behind this strategy? Well, in the world of property, you generally tend to work with a lot of trades. When I say trades, in the UK, that refers to people who have a, how would you describe it in the Philippines? A vocational profession. Is that correct? So that would be electricians, roofers, plumbers, decorators, builders, cleaners. What else? Joiners, for example. So all of these people that work in the property industry, specifically where they service properties. Okay, so that's what we call in the UK tradespeople. Now, what does that mean and why are we contacting tradespeople? Well, we're contacting tradespeople because they work on houses, they work on homes. It could be landlords are hiring them, it could be homeowners are hiring them. So they, that can be an indication that there's a homeowner that's having too many repairs on their homes, or there's a homeowner that's going to move somewhere else, and which means that they are bringing in tradespeople to their properties so that they can uh, change the carpets for the new people coming in, or so that they can repaint their homes because they want to put it on the market and get the best possible price. Or it could be landlords who are using tradespeople to work on their properties, to service their properties because they don't want to do it themselves. So these are people who go inside the properties that your client, your property investor client, might be looking to buy. Okay, so it's one source of leads. That's why I call this multi-funnel, because we can find properties using property portals. We can find properties using tradespeople. We can find properties using probate solicitors. We can find properties using portfolio landlords. So it's all of these several funnels that we can generate leads from in order to build a pipeline for our clients to find property deals. And texting, doing a texting campaign to tradespersons is just one funnel of finding property deals. So as investors, we would like to be sourcing property deals from as many leads as possible. Okay, so one of these leads would be doing a texting campaign to tradespeople. So here's the instructions. Like I mentioned before, all the instructions and templates for each of the strategies are already uploaded in the Asana board. So you've got here, having said that, I don't think I actually uploaded it. Did I? Is it this one? Yes, I did. So this is the instruction for this strategy, but I think I prefer using the Canvas slide. Here we go. So I'll just run through the steps for the strategy, and then I will show you how to do it. Okay, so we've got here, I'll just put that to this side. Right, so first of all, we always work from instruction. Okay, mainly in this case, we just need to know what the area or the city is that our client is investing in. It could be just one city, or it could be several cities. It could be one region, or it could be several regions. We then go to this website, trustatrader.com. We select a trade like plumbers, and then we type in the local area. We then data scrape all mobile numbers. To do this very quickly, we could use Chrome's instant data scraper extension. I think I showed this to you. If not, I'm going to run it with you again. So instead of you copy pasting each mobile number, we can simply do a one click for Chrome's instant data scraper, and it will do it in seconds. Okay. UK mobile numbers start with 07. So if Chrome will data scrape numbers that start with 01 or 02, for example, those are not mobile numbers. So when you do a texting campaign, then it's going to be rejected, or it will just get lost in whatever system. Okay. However, actually, if you use text magic to do your texting campaign, you can select the option for text magic to automatically delete non-mobile numbers. But just the same, I think it's good to just start with, identifying mobile numbers. Okay. Now we prepare the wording for our text campaign. Again, that's in the Asana board. You can copy and paste. And you do need to change some of the wording, like the area and the name, for example. So do always check with your clients if and how they want to change the wording. Here we go, use your own client's details. And then just click send for the campaign, and that's that. I will show you now the exact steps, or the actual steps. Okay, I'm going to use Chrome for this one. Trustatrader.com. You could do Google, but I feel like it's easier to do it from this website. There are other websites as well, but just to make your lives easier, just copy what I'm doing. Okay. So we'll start with, let's say, plumbers. So here we go. We type in plumbers. Let's say your client's area is Leicester. Okay, click search. So these are all the search results. Okay, you can manually copy and paste this. I don't even know if you can copy it. I don't think you can even copy it. But here we go. If you use Chrome and you install the instant data scraper extension, this is what Google's going to do for you. Like magic, it's just scrape everything. Save it as a CSV file. Okay, so I think that's done it. Yeah. Now, if there's several pages, you need to use this extension for every page, because it will only data scrape what's on the first page. Okay, what's on the current page, that is. So if we go to page 2, so here we are, page 2, we need to click on data scraper again for this one and save. Okay, I'm just going to show you, there's a little extra work that you need to do after you download this file. Okay. So page 1, we've got how many results? 11, so that's 10 results. Okay, so I would go perhaps to column J, because that's basically all the mobile numbers that we need. There are other columns here, but they may not be mobile phones. Like this one, it's telephone number, href, whatever that is. And as you can see, that's 01162, which means that's not a mobile number. Whereas for sure, when we go to column J, that's all the mobile numbers that we need. Okay, so let's go to the next step, because what I want to show you is then how to use text magic. So of course you need to create an account for your client, create one using whatever email address that you'd like to use. If you've already got an email address that's using your client's company, like let's say Jelena at what is it, NG Equity or something like that. If you've got one, then probably that's a good email address to use. Or your client might say she wants the text magic account to be created in their email address. Either way, as long as you create one, then you can log in. So what do we do, right? Let's just bring Cherry inside the room. Okay, let's wait until Cherry is with us so that I don't have to repeat these steps. Hi, Cherry, are you in the room? I think you might be. Okay. Right, so I was just doing a recap on how to do a tradesman texting campaign. For whatever section you missed before this, just do a replay or just watch the replay, okay? But I'm just about to do the actual steps. And the first one is to create a list. This could be important if you're doing different areas and different trades to do a campaign for. So in this one, we'll say that this is Plumbers Leicester, okay? So we click on this button that says import contact. There's no need to prepare any special CSV file for this one if you click on copy and paste phone numbers. So let's go back to this downloaded sheet that we have. Copy and paste. I'm not sure. I think text magic will just delete these superfluous spaces. Okay, so here we go. Continue. Now, this is an important step. You have to click on add contacts to list so that you can create a new list. So here we go, create new list. And we'll call this Plumbers Leicester. Okay. Save. Now press continue. Continue again. Okay, so it's imported 8 contacts, duplicates 0. That's odd. Why is that 8? Because I'm pretty sure this was. Oh, I see. This is blank. That's blank. Okay, so just do a quick check, I guess. Like this one, there's already a mobile number here, but not there. Okay, so It's one of those instances where someone's going to, when they create an account with Trust a Trader, they leave some fields blank. Okay. This one, he's definitely not got a mobile number, just a landline, so skip that. Right. So assume that there were no blanks here, okay? Because I just want to show you the steps. Click on Finish Import. And just find your list here again. So what was it? Plumbers Leicester. Here we go. Plumbers Leicester. Okay. Click on Send SMS. By the way, this one is prepaid. So if it's so if your client has to enter enter some credit. I think the minimum credit is £25. Right. So let your client know that in order for you to carry out campaigns, there has to be credit in the account. Okay. Now, what message are we going to use? Again, go back to the Asana multi-funnel board. Find the template to use. So this is the template that we're going to use. I'm just going to cross this, okay? Because I don't want to accidentally send. But if you're actually sending the campaign, then you do need a list to send to. But I'm just deleting it for the time being because I don't want to accidentally send these messages, okay? Right. So, hi, as a local tradesman in, we change that. We say Leicester. Do you know of any landlord, blah, blah, blah. We are especially looking to buy rundown properties and houses in need of repair or landlords who have a few properties to sell. We give X commission. You have to check with your client what she's prepared to give for every successful sale. Please get in touch. And then this is your client's name. Let's say your client's name is Peter. And then company. And then that could be ABC Properties. Text stop to be removed from list. Okay. And then click send. Once you click send, it will just delete the balance from here. And then it will send to however many contacts there were in your list. That could be 8 in this instance, or it could be 800. All right. Now you are able to use Text Magic allows you to use their like it's like a group mobile number. Okay, you share it with other people, but that number you cannot ring that number. You'll just get like an error message that you can't contact that number, but you can reply to that number. Okay, so your client has to decide whether she wants to use her or his own mobile number to receive messages so that she can receive calls, or she might want to use Text Magic's own bulk number or shared number. Okay, so sometimes okay, if it's a number that you use from Text Magic, then these people can reply to those messages. Okay, so yes, we come across them all the time, no problem, bear that in mind. And then I realized that if they did have a deal and they rang the number that I texted from, which was a Text Magic number, I won't actually get that call. So I decided later on to just use an actual mobile number where they can ring me if they did have a deal from which I can respond and talk to them. Okay. If your client prefers to use a Text Magic number, maybe for privacy reasons, then you might want to edit this message with something like, please call whatever this number is. Okay. if you would like to speak to someone. There. Or something like this number, I don't know. You will not be able to call me back on this number. So please call if you would like to speak to someone. Okay, you can also include this message in order to make sure that if this person, this plumber, wants to ring your client back, that he's able to using this, using your, your client's actual number. Okay. Sorry. Are the steps clear so far, or do you have any questions at this point? Do you want me to repeat anything? This strategy is fairly easy. Actually, most of them are fairly easy. It's just step 1, step 2, and they're all laid out in clear instructions anyhow. But this is how to do a text a trader campaign. Okay, so you when you log into Text Magic, you're already in this page anyway. You don't need to find it, so you're already in the compose message. All right. Okay, I am going to just close this because I think we're done with that step. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And I'll give you guys maybe 5 minutes to try the strategy for yourself. See if you can go to trustatrader.com and try and install the Google Chrome extension and see if you are able to do the steps up until the point, at the very least, where you're able to upload a contact list. If you create an account with Text Magic right now, they might ask for you to top up some credit. We don't want to do that at this point, of course, but we just want to try out the strategy live. All right. So are you guys okay to have 5 minutes to do this? Or will you need more time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Christina.
All right. I will leave you to it. I'm going to quickly go to the kitchen and get some tea, and I'll be right back. Okay.
I've never had it so good. I've got all of these listings that have been removed that are relistable, by the way, that I don't need.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got so many sales, so many avenues.
Will you still need Angela?
Well, Angie, I could get to help at some. I mean, the thing is, yes, but there are other things that I need to restructure with what I'm doing. So, is this going to last for a few months? In which case, it's a good indication that it's will continue as it is. And then I need to get the fulfillment done for all of the UK shipments.
Thank you. Yeah, that's probably your next
I
step.
need to take the pressure off my mum. Okay. Because if I expand and I go VAT registered, I've not got to go just a bit bigger. I've got to go a
Miss Christina, can I ask something?
Yes, go ahead.
I tried to like open the text magic website, and then since I don't have an account yet, I tried to click the free trial,
Mm,
and it says that sorry, text magic was not available in your location.
okay. Probably your client needs to create the, the account here in the UK and give you permission to log in. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Help contact us. Wait. Just do a chat. Okay, message. Okay, I'm sharing my screen so that you can see my chat with their tech support. Okay, I don't know if you can see my screen, but it's here. Okay, so I've messaged chat support.
All right, thank you. It's visible.
Mhm.
In the
It
screen.
is great. Okay. Okay, let's see what Alexa has to say. Okay, I recommend you register the UK account while being in the UK and share that account details with her. Okay. Will she then be able to log in? Okay. Taking a while. Yes, she will. However, there may be connection issues if she is using. Okay. All right. Mag-smart na lang kayo. Ayaw doon yun ng PLDT at Globe. All right. Okay. Thank you for your help. Okay. So good news, you are able to, but just tell Lisa, or well, guys, just tell your clients that they have to create the account themselves first, and afterwards you can take over. You're welcome. All right. Okay. Any questions from anyone else? Mark, Cherry, or Kay?
None. Same as I think with
Okay,
the
that's
other.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
Jelena.
why I think, during our training sessions, I think we'll always get to do a try it yourself portion so that you can ask me questions live right then and there. Like this one, I didn't realize that you will have difficulty um creating an account. So this was a good exercise to do. All right, so perhaps we can move on to the next slide or the next portion. Where are we at? Okay, here we go. So yes, at the end of it, we simply need to just click send and the campaign will be sent. And if you're using TextMagic's mobile number, which in a way I suggest you actually do, as long as you type in a number where the person can ring, then you will spare your client lots of swear words from tradesmen because you are bothering them with a text. You only need to send it once because typically they'll just click unsubscribe afterwards. Okay. But yes, your client will get lots of angry people to say, oh, just F off and all that. Um, but in a way, business is business. Your client would like to find property deals wherever they can. And this is one very good, inexpensive strategy for your clients to carry out. Okay. So if you'd like to introduce this to your client, this is an email template that you can use in order to get in touch with them and tell them, would you like me to try out this strategy for you to help you find property deals? Christina taught us this strategy today. We can try it out. Okay. Recap Stannp. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I'll do the Stannp recap. I always do one Stannp trick a week. We'll do this later after the main session. Okay. So for now, I'd like to go through wins and challenges with you. This is an opportunity for you to share what worked well and what didn't work so well last week. Predominantly, we'd like to limit this to lead generation, but of course, as property VAs, we always have some more challenges outside lead generation. And if you share it to the group, then everyone else can learn from your experience. Okay, so on my screen, Jelena is the first one, followed by Mark, followed by Chari, followed by Kay. So we'll start with Jelena.
Right, sure. So for this week, this week. So I tried to watch the video for the sick code. And since Miss Lisa Rather is interested to send letters to the landlords to ask if ever they have properties that they wanted to sell, then that is really a perfect strategy. So for the week, I did try to download one zip file.
Yes.
And it's really true, Miss Christina, that it's really heavy.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so although I was able to get the addresses and then use the company's house website to gather the names of the directors, and yes, but we haven't sent any letters yet because we are still also doing some work for the flat this is a service accommodation flat in Chelsea. So that is our main focus for the week.
Okay, that's good. Yes, because it's summer coming up and your client's probably getting quite a few bookings in Chelsea. So that's good to know. Thanks for sharing, Jelena. Any challenges in particular, or was it just all sort of easygoing last week?
For last week, no challenges so far.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just with the zip file that it's really heavy.
Yeah.
I thought that it might, break my computer.
I know, right? So that's good. Okay, so with this, if ever you find yourself not having anything much to do, what you can do with the zip files is break them down into like the first number SIC code. So all of the ones you save as like a one SIC file, and then you move on to the number twos. Okay, so that later on it's easier for you. You will have, let's say, okay, so one zip file, you'll have 9 numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that means you've got 9 times 6 files altogether, which is a lot. But that is better than having one super, super heavy file. You'll have, what's 6 times 9? You will have 54, smaller files in your computer. Okay. So that's one tip that you can do. One thing you can do. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Jelena. Let's go to Mark. Mark, how about you? I know you haven't started yet. Probably that's your challenge. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone who's here right now. But yeah, I think still waiting for Mr. N Cube's reply
Mm-hmm.
on when I could start. But wins and challenges, if you were to ask me on what to share, I
Yeah.
think I've experienced it with my previous UK clients also from the property, using this kind of format also. But yeah, I think my challenge right now, because Mr. N Cube told me after the
Okay.
interview that he's gonna provide me with a different
Mm-hmm.
how do you call that, role, I think. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was speaking about quality analyst, so I would be, I think, how to call this one, doing that on his sales
Okay.
calls. So
Alright.
I think that's a different venue or a
Mhm.
different how to call this one, role with this property client, a property business client. So yeah,
Okay.
I think that's all that I could share right now.
Okay.
Hopefully I could start with them so that I could share more.
Absolutely. I have emailed him to ask about your
Oh
start
yes.
date and your service contract agreement.
Mhm.
Sorry, service provider agreement. And
Right.
hopefully we'll get that sorted out soon so that you can formally start working for Shep.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because he was happy, I think,
yeah.
that I was getting married, and then he was telling me that start after your wedding. So I'm not sure if she's still giving me time or something. But yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Christina.
Great. That's fine. Right, Shari. How about you? What challenges and wins have you had in the past week? Shari, you're still muted. I don't know if you're there. We might just move on to Kay for the time being. Kay, have you got any wins and challenges to share to the group?
Hi, good morning. For this week, I was doing still updating the tenants' rent payment, and but just yesterday, Mr. Aaron asked
Mm-hmm.
me if I could start looking for properties finally after a month
Oh,
um,
fantastic.
in Brighton. But I asked him to fill out the form, the Excel
Mm-hmm.
form, so that I would know the details of what property or what type of property would I be looking for him, and
Mm-hmm.
so on. I think he hasn't still filled it up yet as of today, but he told me yesterday that he will accomplish that and send it to me. Maybe I could start working on it by next week because
Okay.
he gave me a task last Friday that
Mm-hmm.
to sort things on Google Drive to look for the
Yeah.
tenancy agreements and other things so that we would have unorganized uh, files that we could
Yeah.
work on.
Okay, that's good. And do you know, Kay and all of the other VAs, it's a good idea if you also share with them the Asana board. Either, on a Zoom call, you share your screen, you show it to them so that they know what choices they've got to find property deals. And if you think you'll have a bit of difficulty explaining to them the strategies, like sometimes when I explain it to you, you understand it, but then it's a completely different matter altogether when it's time for you to explain it back to your client. So just show it to them. Wait, for example, let's go back here. Let's just go to home. So, okay, I'm gonna pretend I'm you. Okay, now I'm talking to Aaron. Hey, Aaron, great. I'd love to start lead generation for you soon. And these are the strategies that Cristina has taught us so far. We can either use a below market value strategy or we can use a commercial to residential strategy. Later, Cristina will teach us how to do the HMO strategy. But for the time being, these are the ones that she's covered so far. Let me know which one you'd like me to use. We can use all of it or we can just use some of it. And then you can explain SSTC is where I data scrape sold subject to contract listings from Rightmove and contact the homeowner. Keywords listings is where I use keywords to find properties on Rightmove. What are the keywords? We go. Keywords to use. All right. So there we go. Keywords to use. Unsold listings is where I find listings on Rightmove older than 6 months. Texting a tradesperson is where we send a text campaign to tradespeople to ask them if they know anyone selling or moving or a landlord who's got a few properties to sell. Probate is where we do a campaign, a letter campaign to solicitors who may have clients, who may have probate clients. Portfolio landlords is where we contact limited directors of property related companies and asking them if they've got properties to sell. Okay. You know what? I'm probably going to include a script here, okay, on what this strategy is, so that you can simply, let's see, verbatim either memorize it or read it to your client. So they go, oh, I see. No, that's the kind of strategy. Yes, let's use that. Okay. Or they might say, oh, not that strategy. I'm not interested in that way of finding property deals. So you leave the choice to your client as to what strategy he or she would like you to use. Okay, we'll see if Cherry's back online. Cherry, are you online to share your wins and challenges? Okay, she's probably not. We can move on. Okay. Recap goals. Right, so what I teach is implementation-based learning, okay? This means that it should be very easy for you to implement the strategies right after the seminar or the webinar. For example, during the 5 minutes when I got you to try out the texting campaign, it was easy enough for you to go up to the step where you physically can't do it anymore because you're not allowed to open an account with Text Magic. So you can see how easy it is to implement what I teach during the sessions. Okay, so that is my number one goal for all of you, that you get to implement it straight away. Of course, it's limited to when your client is actually ready to use these steps. But I do encourage that even when your client's not ready, for you to just give it a go, try it out for yourselves. And number two, the goal is that we build a pipeline of off-market property deals for our clients. Pipeline means that we are not just contacting one and then no more. Okay, pipeline, from what the name suggests, is it's a row of sources or leads that we're building for our client. Why is this important? Because numbers are important for marketing. Okay, we don't expect to have 100% hit rate, or success rate with anything. So if there's only one property deal that we're chasing, that's, hoping that that deal will be successful, right? That we will get that deal, when in fact, the reality is that it probably will take your client to make 50 offers before they get to one accepted offer or one negotiated closed sale out of 50, out of 100, out of 200. So that's why it's important to build a pipeline, so that we don't have to rely on an all or nothing approach with finding property deals. Okay. Third goal is that we want to be doing, at the very least, a weekly direct to vendor campaign. So texting tradesmen, that's direct to the tradesman. Mailing or sending a mail to probate solicitors, portfolio landlords, business owners, all of these is direct to vendor. Okay, we are not calling estate agents to find property deals for our clients. Your client might want you to as well, anyhow, which is good. I mean, that's still one way of finding property deals. But the ones that I'm teaching you specifically, it's wherein the client does not have to go through estate agents, and the client can find a better deal if they go direct to vendor. And fourth, it's multi-funnel marketing. That is to say, we don't just rely on one strategy. We'd like to utilize as many strategies as possible for our clients. Okay, so this is just a slide to say, ideally, I'd like for you to be sending out 50 letters a week, as much as you can. Right, we're moving on now to the next strategy or the next session. So today we're covering a new strategy for commercial to residential, okay? And I'm calling this strategy the planning portal strategy. And just a summary of the steps before I actually show you how to do it. Number one, get your client to fill in an instruction sheet. I've uploaded a different instruction sheet on Asana. It's different to the other ones that we've used before. So make sure that you use this new instruction sheet, okay? Then you go to Google and you type in your client's area and the word planning portal, because we want to find the planning portal for your client's area. I don't know all of the website addresses for all of the planning portals in the UK, so I cannot give this to you, so you have to search for it yourself. So if it's Leicester planning portal, okay? It may be that what will come out is Leicestershire or something like that. I don't know. Leicester is just a city, so it could be, let's say, for example, I don't know, Stockport, and then that might be under Manchester. I'm not so sure, but so you do have to Google your client's area or areas if there's more than one, and then the words planning portal, so that Google will find it for you. When you click on the website, go to advanced search, and there might be a few links that you'll need to click before you actually go to the search page. I'll show you what you might need to go through, okay? But when you're there, go to advanced search, type in the keyword 2C3. Okay, I'll explain shortly what that means. Okay, and then if instructed by client, select either granted or refused. Again, I'll explain what that means. Then you data scrape addresses and project details. I'll show you how to do this. Prepare the correct direct to vendor mailing campaigns on Stannp. Download the PDFs to show your client. So when your client approves, then you can schedule the campaign. All right, I'll start with the keyword. I'll start with step 4 to explain what that means. To C3, that means that what you're looking for in the planning portal are all planning applications where the intended project is to convert something into a C3 class use. Now, C3 refers specifically to private residential use, okay, or dwelling or home dwelling, okay. In the UK, any building that is built on, well, in the country needs to have a classification of what that use is for. So an office is B1, a hotel, I think is C4, I'm not so sure. A house for people to live in is C3. Okay, a farm warehouse is like another classification. A retail store or shopping center, that's another classification. A church is another classification. So in the UK, the classification for houses, including apartments, so like a dwelling for person to live in, is called C3. Okay, that's a C3 classification. So what we're looking for are any projects wherein the intention is to change something from something into a dwelling. Okay, so why is this a strategy that we want to use? It's because we're doing a commercial to residential strategy. So this is precisely what we're looking for. Any commercial or any whatever type of property where the planning is, where the application is for planning to change something into C3, okay, into a residential dwelling. So that's why it's a C2R strategy. Okay, let me find the instruction sheet so we can actually go deeper into this strategy. Okay, here's the thing that you need to ask your clients. Okay, first of all, ask for the area. If your client has more than one area, therefore there is, you know, as many columns as you need. Additional keywords. So apart from the keyword 2C3, your client may specifically want to use keywords like offices, HMOs, B1, churches, farm, barns, whatever, okay? This is for your client to enter. And this is not for you to have to know what keywords to use. If your client doesn't know, then leave it blank. The keyword 2C3 might be sufficient, okay? And then ask your client if he or she wants to look for refused planning or planning that has been granted. What is the difference? Refused means that the council is not giving permission for the project to take place. Now, why would your client want to take this on? Because there is opportunity here to reverse the decision. You can't, you know, lodge an appeal to the council, or you can resend the application, correct some of the things that the previous submission did incorrectly, or your client uses a better planning consultant to find out how to resend this application, wherein this time around the project will be granted permission. Okay, so you're finding opportunities here, whereas the previous person who applied for planning did not get the permission granted, but with your client's better team involved or better approach, he or she may have a better outcome than the previous applicant. So there's that opportunity there. Granted means that the work is done for your client, so he or she may not get a discount on this property deal, but the headache has been removed and the opportunity is simply for your client to find something off market. Okay, it's not listed, you're going direct to the owner, which means that while there may not be a discount involved because the work's already done, the opportunity is still there for the client to avail of a property before anyone else does. Okay, sometimes we're just happy to pay for things uh, with market value or even over the market value because we want the opportunity and we think it's worth it for whatever price it's asking for. Okay. If your client neither bothered with refused or granted, then do all. Okay, so if there's no instruction here, client says either, NA or either, that means that your client wants to consider both refused and granted application. Okay, please tell me if I'm going too fast. Right, so here we go. We'll try and Google something. We'll type in right, Leicester planning portal. Right, here we go, leicester.gov.uk. So we click on that. Find and comment on planning applications. Sometimes it's not straightforward where you can search, but it's typically they have this page with lots of words that introduces what you can do on this website. And then if you scroll down, you might find something like this: find and comment on a planning application. View applications on our online mapping system. Okay, we don't want the mapping system. We're not interested in looking at the map. We want to see the details of whatever planning was submitted. So this is the page that we want to go to. Just maybe for a bit of exercise, I will choose a different town so that you can see what another council's website might look like. Okay, Wakefield planning portal. Okay, it's this or that. It's probably out there, view or comment. Right, so this is the page that we need. Even though these council websites, they'll have like different pages before the actual search page, ultimately all of them will look like this, just about or thereabouts. Okay, agree. Okay, quick. Right, quick, advanced, simple, advanced. Okay. They might be using different words. So if your client is not investing in Leicester or Wakefield, the website might look different for you, but they will have a quick and an advanced way of searching the register, such as this one, simple and advanced. We want to go to the advanced because we want to type in the keyword 2C3. enforcement only. Here, keywords 2C3. Okay, let's say your client wants to look for both refused and granted. Just click on search. Has it found anything? Okay. Okay, so it's found one. That's a bit strange. Start a new search. Maybe I typed in all dates. Okay. Board all enforcement. Search. Okay, well, in this case, it just probably looks like there's only one result. Okay, let's use Wakefield, see if we're having more success. Okay, I guess it's just a location kind of thing. So here we've got Wayfield has a lot more applications where it's a 2C3 kind of development. So you can see here B1 to C3, Office to C3, etc. to C3. Let's see if Leicester, all right, advanced. So instead of typing a keyword, we might go for development type, dwellings. Okay, I'm gonna have to include an extra step to just type in for you to select, instead of typing 2C3, to go to development type and select dwellings. Okay, there's large scale, there's minor, and small scale dwellings. So choose all three. Okay, I mean, you're gonna have to do 3 separate searches here. Okay, your client may want to select only, let's say, within the last 2 years. All right, 2019.
Kita po yan.
Background po lang.
Okay, I think you're not muted. Decisions will say planning applications, decision type. Okay, it could be a refusal. Condition approved. Okay, refused. We'll see if this brings up more. So here we go. Right, okay. So Leicester City Council, there's no 2C3 kind of keyword. There's just a class C3. Okay. So all of this has been refused, which is great. Refused, refused, refused. Now here's what you need to do. The opportunity here is to contact the architect or whoever submitted the application and to explain to them that you want to contact them because their submission has been refused if they're looking to sell then please get in touch to your client, of course. Please get in touch because we want to buy your property. We want to take over the problem. You've been refused. That's a problem for you. How about you sell it to us? We are happy to take on your problem of not having been granted planning permission. Okay. Okay, refusal, outline application. Okay, where do we find the details? This is what you need to do with all planning applications, is to go to the documents section. Okay, and typically, generally, it would be just two documents that you need to look out for. Just 1 second. Is there an application document? So here's the thing, because it's different per council, sometimes it's hard to look for the document. Planning app, supporting info, decision notice. Okay, here we go. Application form without personal data. All right. How about decision notice? There's the applicant's name. We contact this person, Mr. Malipa ata, Miss Helen Broadhurst. And there's the agent, Elder House, Vale Planning Consultants. We'd like to, in this case, you can see it's the same address. So actually, we will be contacting the planning consultant in this instance, but we would like to address it maybe to Helen Broadhurst, Mrs. Helen Broadhurst. Okay. Vale Planning Consultant, Elder House. Okay, I'm just showing you where to find the details, okay? The nitty-gritty of the details sometimes would be different depending on the application submitted itself. But it's usually in the planning decision or the planning application where you will find the applicant's details. In this case, there was no planning application, but there was a decision notice. And so we can find the details from there. So we copy and paste the details, but as well, we will copy the application number, the location of the project or the address, okay? So both this and that, and we will put that in, just 1 second. And this is why I want to do the Stannp recap in this section. Here, reference ID and project address. Okay, so we've got the reference ID. And project address. Okay, because later on, when we actually upload it to Stannp, do you remember I showed you the steps on how to insert dynamic fields, to insert fields where you can change the content for each letter that we send out? This is where we need to do that. Okay, so this one might be Mrs. What's your name? Broadhurst. And then we copy this Elder House. Sorry, Vale Planning Consultants. yes, it is time consuming and you have to do this the long and hard way. Mountain Mulberry. Okay, we'll just save this. Downloads. Okay, let's log into Stannp. Okay, so we've got title, first name, last name, company, got a reference ID. Okay, because it says, whenever it says custom heading, it means that it's unlikely going to be found by Stannp. So if you just go to reference number, I have the project address. Yeah, project address. Import data. Let's hope there's no technical issues here, but let's give it a try. Okay, bulk campaigns. Create new campaign. A4 letter. Okay. Planning sample. Create campaign. Let's just create a blank letter template. Right, so text block. Planning. What is our letter template? Planning refused. So dear title, last name, I'm writing in reference to the property at property address that was recently refused planning permission. My company is actively looking to purchase properties such as that of your client because we're contacting the agent. We believe we may be able to find opportunities despite the council's decision. If your client is looking to sell the above property, I would be very interested in making an offer. I pay high referral fees for completed transactions. Likewise, if you have other clients who might be looking to sell their properties, that will be of interest as well. And make sure just you change your client's details. So we're gonna copy and paste that onto Stannp. Text block. Here we go. Reference ID, number, and then we type in here. Reference number, year, title. Did we put a dot? I'm not so sure. Last name, comma. I want to make sure that that's the correct stamp format. Project address. You want to select a font that's more formal looking, you can use this maybe. Okay, so we'll click save and finish, and then select the recipient group. I think it was this one, so we'll select that. We'll see how the letter came out. So it looks good. Reference ID number, that's a planning application number. Dear Mrs. Broadhurst, I'm writing in reference to the property at, it's exactly as we typed it in, that was recently refused planning permission. My company is actively looking, etc., etc. Regards, clients, details. Okay. Obviously, we want to be using a professional letterhead with your client's branding, logo, contact numbers, all of that. But this is just to show you what the output will look like. So once we send this off, fingers crossed, we'll get a call back, or your clients will get a call back to say, hey, Miss Client, thank you for your letter. I have forwarded it to my client. Or they might say, you know, to the words of, don't bother us again. In which case, go back to Stannp, delete their details, and move on to the next one. Okay. That is the planning portal strategy. So whatever your client city is, we Google to find the planning portal for that local area, that local council. We want to go to the planning section and type in these search queries in order for us to find opportunities for our clients. Okay. So what we did for Leicester, because it wasn't very helpful, we selected small, what was it? Small scale dwellings. Now, I think for the most part, small scale will be sufficient, but just try the medium and the large scale as well. For the small scale, in this case, I'm not so sure this was small scale, because how many, you know, even with the small scale, you get 28 flats. So I don't know what they mean by large scale. But here we go. That is a strategy, guys. I'm going to the Q&A section now so that you can ask me questions. I'm not so sure we have time for you to do this yourselves live with me, but I will invite you to try it out for yourselves at home, okay, later on. Okay, so Q&A. Any questions from anyone in the group? I hope I wasn't too fast. Sometimes we don't have questions until we try it out ourselves. Would you like to try it out right now for like maybe 5 minutes? I am not getting any response, so I'm hoping my internet connection isn't.
Yes, I think we could try it, Christina.
Okay, yes, Mark, thank you. I'll give you 5 minutes to have a go, and I'll be back to find out how it went for you, okay?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so we are back live. I'm probably going to give you a couple more minutes to see how you're getting on, but I'm here if you have any questions, any sticky, tricky thing that you're finding navigating the planning portals. I'm here to answer your questions.
I think the long process would be the copy and pasting.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if there's any simple way of doing it. If it's a PDF, sometimes there are apps and software out there that can scrape the text if it's possible or convert it to text. But yeah, at this point, it is a bit like just copy and pasting.
Right. But yeah, for the questions, I think I have none for
Mhm.
now.
Okay, great. Were you able to find the correct document easily?
Yes, I try like from Hull CD. Yeah, I
Mhm.
tried those ones.
Okay,
I
that's
found
good.
documents like that. I forgot, but I tried this with a different software. Sorry, that was my 1-year-old.
Mhm. Cute. Okay, how did everyone else get on? Jelena, Kay, Chari,
So
hi Kay. How was
yeah,
it for you?
I was able to proceed until step 4, I think. I found this. There's a list,
Mhm.
but it's dated 8th of November 2017. I don't know if this is updated or it's like how many? 3 page and 4 properties listed on each page.
Would you like me to make you host so you can share your screen?
Okay.
Okay, we'll see what because with the planning strategy, you do have to navigate each council's website, so sometimes a bit tricky.
Where can you see my screen now?
Okay, can you go back to the main planning page? Sorry, the main result.
Okay, here.
We'll see if we can find you a
tried.
better document.
I followed the procedure and
Right.
I
Okay,
did well.
so you are in the main Brighton and Hove
Yes.
page. So that you need to go to the planning page. So go back to
Oh,
Google.
okay. So-
And then type in Brighton Planning Portal.
Okay, and then
Why don't you select Find and Comment on?
okay, here.
Mhm. Okay, scroll down.
Search this one.
Go up a bit. Bit more. Commenting on a planning application. Okay, I am going to, can you make me host? I will see if I can navigate Brighton for you.
Okay, I'll stop my share screen.
Mhm. Okay, you need to make me host by clicking, you know that like on my frame, I think it's in the upper right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then make me host.
There. Done.
Okay, share my screen. Brighton planning portal. This is why it's really good to just do it live. Okay, planning applications. Apply for planning. Here we go. It's just, I guess it's like one of those things. You need to go back and go back in, go back out, back in. But this is the one that you want to find and look for. Okay, so I found it under planning applications. Scroll down, find and comment on, excuse me, on planning applications. It will generally take you to a simple search page, but there is a tab to find advanced. And that's when you go to C3. And oh, and like with Lester, the 2C3 keyword did not work. So if it so happens that it's not working for you as well, then you can always go to development type dwellings. Okay, either major dwellings, minor dwellings, and what was the other one? I think it was a small scale. So I don't know if they have small scale here. Minor, could be minor and major dwellings. Okay. Decision dates, your client might say only the last 2 years is what we're interested in. Then if that's the case, decision date, then just type in here last 2 years. Search. Okay, there's only one. Quite possibly in Brighton. If your search result isn't showing up at least 10, then the keyword is not working. Then just go to development type, minor dwellings. Again, decision date. Here we go. There. It's C3, you see. There. So these are the search results that you're gonna have to data scrape. And I'm sorry, there's plenty here. So you might go back to your client and say, there's a lot. Would you like me to filter the the search results a bit more? Go back here and then you can say decision refused. Refused. Development type, what was it again? Minor dwellings. Let's just say the last year. Okay, search. Date received. Okay. Yeah, so Brighton, there's lots of opportunities here for Aaron. Okay. changing of commercial unit to create a 2-bedroom masonette. I'm assuming that the decision is refused because we selected refused. Okay, refused, refused, refused. All of this has been refused. Write that letter. Okay, we know that it's been refused. We'd like to take on the problem. Please get in touch if your client would like to sell the property to us. Okay, so that's the opportunity there. I hope that's helped. Jelena or Chari, how did it go for you?
For me, Miss hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So yes, for me, actually, I was tasked by Miss Lisa. She is creating like I mean I am the one who created the mind map in
Mhm.
Canva.
Mhm.
However, the guidelines is coming from her, and one of the guide or the list is to look up for planning portals in Cambridge, and I was able to do that before.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
yes, but
Nauna ka
I'm
pa
quite
sa lesson?
yeah, actually, I'm not really quite sure if I did the right thing before. I just like search in the internet to see what are the results. Then for now I am just having like trouble seeing the reference ID number. No.
Okay. Do you
Ah,
want to?
I can see her now.
Oh, you
I can
found
see
it.
her now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
and
Does
that's it.
your client have her own letter template, or
Uh
it doesn't have any? And um, you can
for
use this letter template if your client doesn't have one.
okay, yeah, sure, I will, because yeah, I was not able to contact yet the agents because I don't know what to say, what would be the
Mm.
email will look like. So maybe I'll just copy the template coming from you. And for now, Miss Lisa instructed me to contact them via email, so
Mhm.
not through mailing.
By email. Okay, that's fine. Email is
Yes.
also fine. I mean, you know what? Sometimes you don't even need to go through planning portals, because you can just Google planning consultant Cambridge or planning consultant Brighton, and then you do a like a general prospecting campaign like we do with the pro-based solicitors, and we ask, do you work for any clients whose projects have been refused planning? We'd like to take that on. Get in touch, my details, etc. Okay, sometimes you can just do that, but what I like about going through the planning portal is that you've got the actual details of the properties, so it's more specific and it's more targeted, that you've done a bit of research. The other way that we can do this, your clients can do this, I mean, but it will involve extra costs for your client, is where they don't go through the planning consultant, and what they do instead. Okay, so we've got here 2 Boyers Orchard. I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay, so earlier we found 2 Boyers Orchard using that Leicester planning application. What we can do, and like I said, this will involve extra costs for your client, but they can find out who owns this property and how to contact this person. Okay, and we do that by going to land registry. Again, this is not free. Your client needs to pay £3 for every address. Land registry. Don't click on the ads. Okay, go to the government website. Okay, accept. Hide this message. Start now. Okay. Wait, the website does not look correct, or Does not look like it loaded properly. Let's try Chrome and registry. Okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. House name, postcode, search. Okay, 2 Boyer's Orchard, Harvey, Melton Mowbray, LE14 4BA. Okay, information available. Am I able to click on it? Okay, here we go. Title register. £3 to do that purchase. That means your client needs to log in and then pay for each of these addresses. Then they'll find out it could be, let's say, Miss Robinson, who is living in, I don't know, not even in this property. She might own this, she might not live there, okay? But it will tell you where Miss Robinson lives. And then you can contact Miss Robinson and say, we have details of your property, number 2 Boyer's Orchard, which recently got planning application refused. If you would like to sell this property, we are happy to take on the project with planning refused, and we will take on the risk of the project even when it's planning refused. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. But for the free way, the one where your client does not need to pay £3 for each of these addresses, we simply find the details on the planning portals where we can contact the planning agent or planning consultant who applied on behalf of the client. Sometimes you can find planning applications where it's the client, the owner, the homeowner who's making the application, and probably that's the reason why they got planning refused, because they did the submission or the application incorrectly. And sometimes you can find their details there directly, but more often than not, it will be the agent's details that will be on the planning application, and it's them we're contacting. Okay, so should your client choose to do it this way, they can, but it will cost them money, £3 per application, and that can rack up. You know, it could be like, sure, if there's 10 addresses, then that's £30, but there could be 100 addresses, and that's £300 for your clients. Right, so we're a little over the time now, and I want to move on. I guess we've done the Q&A a bit. This was a bit like the Q&A, so we can skip the Q&A. We can go through encoding of knowledge. So I'd like for each one of you to just share briefly your main takeaways and key ideas that you learned from today's session. We'll start with Jelena. You're first on my screen.
Well, for today, what I learned is that regarding to other strategy like using the text magic. So that's it. And then aside from that, it's also really like helpful for me to join the lesson today regarding to getting the information in the planning portal so that I can apply that with Miss Lisa. And yeah, that's it so far.
Okay, that's wonderful. Kay, how about you?
Hi. Yeah. one of my I think what I will be able to use is the text magic, because Sir Aaron told me if I could look for a software where I could text people in the UK, and
Ah,
I will be telling that to him later, because he would want me also to coordinate with the tenants as well.
mhm.
And to do that, if they don't have WhatsApp or Viber, I think this would the website would be helpful for me. So I'll
Mhm.
be telling that to him later. And
Okay.
also the strategy to look for properties, since I think not next week or
Mhm.
sometime, I'll be starting to look for properties for him in Brighton. So I'll
Okay.
be telling him the strategies that you have taught us, even the
Um, may I suggest, with the text magic for tenants, I would like to get, I'd like for you to email Aaron and say, Christina suggesting that the mobile number for coordinating with tenants will be different for when you're prospecting. Okay. Um, so hopefully, get back to Aaron and ask him, can we have a different mobile number for the tenant coordination? So he needs to get a SIM card just for the tenants, okay?
okay.
Because even if no, let me see. That means that you can't reply to it. Because you can
Um,
only reply if it's a text magic number. Right. Okay, scrap that. Don't get um a specific number for tenant coordination, use the text magic shared number, but always type in there, do not call this number. If you need to speak to somebody, please can you dial and then use Aaron's number if he's happy for you to use that. Because
okay.
if you if you use the text magic number and they ring, they won't be able to speak to a human person. B, if they don't use the text magic number, that means you as a VA cannot respond, cannot reply because you need a physical phone to reply to those
Yeah.
messages. So I suggest use the text magic number, but always type in do not call this number. Call this number instead if you need to
Yes.
speak to somebody. Okay.
Yes, noted on that. Thank you, Christina.
Okay. Before I interrupted you, were you wanting to say anything more?
Nope, no.
Okay. Mark, how about you?
Give me one moment there. Sorry. Yes, key takeaways for today. I think these new websites and new strategies that I've learned, because in the past I've been using like old school property business
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, strategies. But yeah, trusttrader.com. It's very helpful. Text Magic, and especially the one that you made, Miss Christina, the text a tradesperson. Basically, it's below the BMV strategy, right?
Yeah.
So it's very helpful. The Asana, I think that you, I mean the board that you created in Asana is very very helpful, to be honest, because in my own experience with different UK property clients, or basically like the people who hire VAs, it's sometimes they're really disorganized. But yeah, I'm lucky to be here with TPVA. That's all I think
I'm glad to hear
for
that.
now. Hopefully, I could start soon.
Yes, let's get Shep to give you a call back or get back in touch with you soon so you can start. By the way, I
Yeah,
think his surname is not N Cube. I know it looks like N Cube, but it's an
yeah.
African
At
name, so
first,
I'm pretty
in
sure
Kube, he
it's
said.
Nkube, yeah,
Yeah, then that's
or
how he
Nkube.
pronounced it to me.
Okay.
I verified that first with him. But yeah, does he have like a WhatsApp number maybe? So that
I wouldn't know, but I will
okay.
find out for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you,
So
Christina.
there's that for the time being. So really thank you guys for attending today's session. Hopefully we soon will get to find and well build a pipeline and find property deals for your clients. And I will send the recap and the replay over to you by tomorrow, and I will see you next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.